Okay, hello, good evening to everybody. I'm happy to see you all here to this talk we have tonight on different techniques, ideas German authorities have toward refugees and what they are telling. And we have like two examples: age estimation of unaccompanied minor refugees coming here mostly, and the question of birth certificate. We want to discuss, present today, and see how this affects the life of people coming here as refugees, asylum seekers, how it also roots in colonial history, perhaps a bit. And for all these topics, I'm happy to say hello to Sabine Netz on the far left side from you, Fatoumata Cham, Omar Janneh. Fatoumata and Omar are coming from Bremen, and Oppl from the Munich Refugee Council. We will try to do always a short summary in German, which I start now. Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu unserer Veranstaltung zum Thema No One Can Be Born Twice. Es geht darum, am Beispiel der Geburtsurkunden oder Verweigerung von Geburtsurkunden und Altersfeststellung bei unbegleiteten Minderjährigen zu diskutieren, wie Behörden in Deutschland mit Geflüchteten umgehen, was sie ihnen glauben, was sie ihnen nicht glauben und was das auch mit Geflüchteten macht. Herzlich willkommen und ich würde jetzt vielleicht Omar fragen, sich vorzustellen. Omar ist von Together via Bremen. Fatou kommt auch aus Bremen und beide werden ein bisschen berichten auch über den Aktivismus in Bremen. So, Omar, will you please present yourself and say a bit about Together via Bremen and shortly what this context, what this group is aiming at.
Hello, good evening. Thank you all for coming. My name is Omar Janneh. I'm a Gambian living in Bremen. I am in Bremen now for 5 years and some months. This is my colleague. We work together, Fatoumata. So we came from a group called Together We Are Bremen. This is a group that was organized by minors or the self-organized youngsters who were kind of facing the same problem in Bremen. So the group was organized in 2018 when we came first in Bremen, because before we came, the conditions were poor there, but it's like there was nobody who will stand, who will fight against this. So the only groups that we are fighting is only people from Afghanistan. So people from Africa, East Africa, West Africa, and so on, we are facing the problem like this age determination. So that's why the group was created. And after we will explain a lot, but for you to have some clue, it's all about youngsters who came here in Germany and facing the same problem.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Fatoumata. Just a little background about myself. I came to Germany in 2020 in Corona time, and then since then there were issues being faced by young unaccompanied minors in Bremen, as well as mothers who have given birth in Bremen. So that was the reason why I had to join Together We Are Bremen in 2020. And then since then I have been a member and I've been an activist, and I'm so happy to be here today. Together We Are Bremen, like he said, is an organization of both young, old, and a group of activists who came together to fight the injustice or to fight things that we believe unjust, and then to make them just. Thank you.
Sabine, perhaps you can say how you met Fatou and Omar, and say in short the context of your project.
Yeah, I'm Sabine. I'm a social and cultural anthropologist, and I did my PhD on age determinations and their effects and their wider transnational post-colonial relations. And yeah, I've heard in 2018, I've heard that there was a group of activists protesting age determinations in Bremen with a public performance, and I found that really cool, and I contacted them, and then since then I've been in contact with some activists of Together Via Bremen, and later on with some of them we decided to make our own research project. Yes, welcome. And so we found each other in a group of 6 people: Omar, Fatoumata Cham, Katarina Schramm, and myself, and did our research on age determinations and birth certificates, and published a website, No One Can Be Born Twice.
Thanks a lot. Chris, perhaps you, Chris showed me a video recording of 2010 when he was among a group of others actively fighting against these age estimation stuff. Yeah, so long already in this topic.
Yeah, actually I first came into touch with the topic of age determinations from this like activist point of view, because I'm in a group in Munich called Kooperation, which is active for the rights of refugees. And then later on I also started working with minor unaccompanied refugees, and I was also working short time here in Young Refugee Center, which is the place where age determination is done here in Munich when somebody is registered here and registered as a minor. And now I'm working for Munich Refugee Council, where we support people who are seeking legal advice if they are affected by age determination and are not in accordance with the outcome. Yeah, that's my different contacts with the topic.
Okay, thanks a lot. So we have plenty of experience on these different things. Omar, do you want to explain a bit what this age determination includes, why it is done, and what is the effect?
Yeah, I think the topic age determination had a really effect on people who came in Bremen. So when you came to Bremen, you go for this interview. So it's like this interview have to decide your life, whether you're gonna be positive or negative. So when you go to this interview is where they will determine your age. So for example, if the social decided that you are above 18, you have only 2 options: to go for culture or some places where you can seek for asylum, or you make an appeal. So when you make an appeal, in this process, in this time, you are not in the system. So they will treat you not like an adult, not like a minor, in between. But before we came at 2018, there are a lot of people who are living in Bremen who are kind of in the same situation, but because of fear, nobody want to speak out. People were living in Bremen who did not know that such a procedure is going on. So 2018, when we came there, I also do this interview, and I was rejected. They sent me to a camp, which is called Gottlieb Daimler Straße. So when I go there, I meet more than 90 people. So this camp also is very far from the city. It's a very remote place. So when you go there, the first day I stepped into this camp, the welcome news that my fellow brothers, welcome, you are also unlucky. So this was very shock to me, and also I don't know what they mean that you are also unlucky. So I was there and interact with people and ask people why they are calling each other unlucky, unlucky. So some are telling me we are here more than 1 year, more than 2 years, some months. So their procedure is going, so they don't know what their fate will be. But in this time also, you don't have even a document or a paper which will show that, you are part of Bremen. Because, for example, even you have a control by the police, a Straßenbahn, they have to take you back to fingerprint again, simply because this small paper or document that they give you. So when we came there, there is one office where everybody, all these 90 people, everybody go to seek for legal advice. What steps should we take, So when I go there, this office, there is one woman called Sabine Lager House and Mr. Sonny. So when we go there, Sonny said to me that, I was living in Bremen more than 20 years. So your situation right now, there is only one way that, you can make people know the kind of situation you people are going on. That is to come to the street to organize a group and come to the street and do demonstration. So, but this is difficult at this moment because you are new in Bremen and your head is full. Everybody, some are saying is scaring when you come into the street, what is going to happen, So nobody was ready to take this chance, to take this risk. Because you are new here, you don't know the authorities, what they will do. So, but this man told me that, you don't have to be afraid, and somebody among you have to be sacrificed, because the supporters, white people, and people of colors could not come to the streets and say they are fighting for you people, do demonstration for you. If demonstration is going to be happen, you people have to be in the front. So I also take the advice. When I go back to the camp, I talk with some people, So, but nobody want to take this advice, and nobody want to come to the street. So before we go to the demonstration, there is also one office where we go, and I asked this woman, now that, we want to take this seriously, what are the risks, what are the consequences if we go to the streets, what will happen about our case? So she told us that to go to the street and fight for your right did not have anything to do with your situation. So this is how the group was created, but at the starting also it was super, super difficult because I personally have to go to door, sensitize people, mobilize people, tell them that, it's your right to come to the street to fight, but some listened to you, some did not listen to you. But it was tough at the starting, but when we do our first demonstration, this was at 2018, the slogan was shut down Godly Daimlerstrasse. So this was successful, I will say. More than 2,000 people were on the streets, as journalists report. So our camp, for people in Bremen to know that, such a camp was existing in Bremen, this was the first day. People know that such a camp was existing in Bremen. So from this day now, we have people who come to visit the camp. Before, nobody come to visit our camp, but from this demonstration, journalists come there, people who like to help us came there. So now the camp was no more hide. It was everywhere, news are reporting it, radios are reporting it. So now this was how the group was created. So our second demonstration was to close this camp, but also, to give people, the documents that they like this to do. So our second demonstration, when we go to the street, we demand that, to speak to the social senator. So this day, surprisingly, when we have the chance to talk with her, she told us that, she never knew that, Gottlieb Daimlerstrasse was existing, which was a very shock to everybody. So this was in winter. So she said that before the summer, they will close the camp. So, but we say that summer is very far. We want the closure of this camp urgently because it's inhuman. I was living there. I know how the condition was. I can't believe that, first I said, am I in Europe? Because if you are in this camp, they said, this is where human beings are living. You doubt yourself that you are in Europe. So conditions there were very terrible because we have this tent house. So in winter, there are these things that they serve as air condition, whereby in the morning, sometimes you will see people bleeding their nose because this thing that they serve as air condition, when you sleep in the morning, you see people bleeding nose. So condition there was very horrible, So we tried to do this demonstration, and luckily, she gave us her word that they are going to close the camp. Okay, maybe I stop after.
Yes.
No, okay. We said Katharina Schramm, who is part of the project and head of the anthropology section, so cultural anthropology section of University in Bayreuth. She will do a short German translation, or that we are not talking in English all the time and forgetting about the people who might not be so fluent in English. Can you give a short summary? So we run directly from age estimation into activism, but yeah.
Nee, ja, mache ich sehr gerne. Ganz kurz hat Omar die Entstehungsgeschichte von Together We Are Bremen skizziert anhand seiner eigenen Erfahrungen und Biografie. Er war sozusagen von Anfang an involviert in den Prozess. Und auf die Frage, was hat die Altersschätzung eigentlich für eine Bedeutung oder wie findet die statt, hat er eben auch seinen eigenen Case geschildert, was es heißt, sozusagen das Interview zu machen, in Frage gestellt zu werden, um dann ein Alter zugewiesen zu bekommen, was sozusagen im Falle der Schätzung als volljährig sehr, sehr bittere Konsequenzen hat, nämlich die Unterbringung in Lagern, die Rechtlosigkeit, der Zustand sozusagen eines Limbo, wo man keine Papiere hat, keine Perspektive, ein Wartezustand, der eben auch einschließt, du hast von der Straßenbahn erzählt, dass du nicht mal dort sozusagen dich ausweisen kannst, wenn du aufgegriffen wirst, sondern dann die Fingerabdrücke genommen werden müssen und so weiter. Also man auch nicht Teil der Stadtgesellschaft ist. Und du hast auch beschrieben, wie sozusagen der Kampf, wie schwierig es eigentlich war, auch Leute zu mobilisieren, sich gegen diese Bedingungen in den Lagern und auch gegen das System sozusagen zur Wehr zu setzen. Vor allen Dingen das Camp, das Lager Gottlieb-Daimler-Straße, wo eben sehr, sehr, sehr schlechte Bedingungen herrschen oder herrschten. Und da hast du und andere haben sich dann eben dafür eingesetzt mit einer großen Demonstration von über 2000 Leuten und tatsächlich dann erfolgreich dieses Lager ist dann geschlossen worden. Also das war ein erfolgreicher Kampf.
Ja, danke. Fatoumata, can you add something to this Together We Are Bremen, the context where you organized yourself, on what what you did as like demonstrations against the situation in this camp and so on.
Yeah, actually, when I came to Bremen for the first time in 2020, I came to visit Germany in general because I had a scholarship to study in the US, but it was in the time of Corona, so there was lockdown. I couldn't go forward, I couldn't go backward. So somehow on the way I became broke. So I landed myself in a Heim which was called Lindenstrasse, whereas I was among 700 people living in the same household. So as I lived there, because of my curiosity, I saw so many mothers with their babies, and then the living conditions were very not convenient. So I started to ask questions why, for how long they have been staying there, and why are they staying there with 4 people living in 3x4 square meter with their kids, which is very unhealthy for children to live in. So most of them have lived there for more than a year plus in bad conditions, but they had this fear to actually ask questions, why are we here? Because the initial heims are just meant for short-term stay, not long-term stay. So at this time, there was lockdown, and the sanitary of the place was very unhygienic. So people started to feel uncomfortable, but I sensed that there was fear to actually come out. And then at that very moment, I was introduced to Together We Are Bremen, and I was told they stand for like help people who are in need or refugees who are in need. So I got in contact, and then I explained the situation at Lindenstrasse amongst all the people that had the same goal to fight against the living conditions there. So at that time, there was Corona and everything was very difficult. So we managed to do everything online, whereas I had to go door to door to convince the women that it was okay to actually come out and then do a protest. And that was the first protest that we did to actually close this Lindenstrasse Heim, which accommodates about 700 refugees. And that's where I met Omar and other members of Together We Are Bremen. So the first protest that was done, we were actually in lockdown inside the Heim, while people like Omar and others came outside the street to actually protest for us to be released, because we are mainly kept at that time as just like prisoners. So after the lockdown was down, the women started to raise their concern, because they figured out that the first protest was a success, because from after the first protest, there was like so many of the mothers were given a better living condition with their kids. They were taken to smaller heims, whereas they have more privacy, more access to so many things that they didn't have. So at this point, they figured out, okay, the only way to succeed in this fight is actually by going out on the street. And that was where they started to raise their concerns about the fact that they have these issues of birth certificates, which is a very big issue and is a very unknown issue actually, because when we did this research, we find out that not so many people actually know that there is an issue with birth certificate that is affecting mostly mothers, or let's say black mothers who came from Africa, and this is hidden under the carpet. So when I joined this Together We Are Bremen, we decided not to just fight about the birth certificate, but also to join the fight of the age determination. And thereas we hit the street for not once, not twice, under the rain, under the snow, under the sun, and eventually there was a success lately regarding the the birth certificate, which we would be very happy to also share with you sometime in this conversation. Thank you.
Okay. Soll ich? Ja, okay. Vielleicht ganz kurz. Fatoumata hat kurz erzählt, wie sie sozusagen nach Deutschland gekommen ist, in der Corona-Zeit eigentlich gestrandet ist in Deutschland, kann man sagen, und in ein Heim gekommen ist, wo über 700 Frauen untergebracht waren, unter den Lockdown-Bedingungen, vor allen Dingen eben auch Mütter mit ihren kleinen Kindern. Und die Corona-Zeit hat diese Krise in den Heimen halt noch verschärft. Es gab dann Proteste von außen und von innen. Ihr wart eingesperrt unter diesen Bedingungen. Und nicht nur das sozusagen war Gegenstand eures Protestes, sondern auch die Verweigerung von Geburtsurkunden für die Kinder, vor allen Dingen schwarzer Mütter. Und diese Kämpfe habt ihr dann gemeinsam mit Together We Are Bremen verbunden und eben die Proteste gegen die Altersschätzung, die Proteste gegen die Bedingungen in den Camps und die Proteste gegen die Verweigerung der Geburtsurkunden verbunden in sehr, sehr vielen Demonstrationen im Winter, im Sommer, im Herbst. Und ihr wart vor allen Dingen bezüglich der Geburtsurkunden auch erfolgreich. Also das war auch ein juristischer Erfolg am Ende.
Gut, davon vielleicht gleich mehr. Jetzt noch zum dritten Aktivisten hier in der Runde. Chris, wie ist das? Wir haben eben schon gesagt, 2010 Karawane, Proteste gegen Altersfeststellung. Wie ist so eine Entwicklung in München verlaufen?
Genau, 2010 wurden die Altersfeststellungen hier noch durch die Regierung von, in 2010 the government of Upper Bavaria was still doing the the age estimation and not the youth authority, Jugendamt, which is doing it today. We protested this because there was also a lot of complaints from the people who were affected by it, that they were not believed when they were giving their age and their documents were not accepted, or if they didn't have any documents, the government of Upper Bavaria would just give them an age. And in many cases to the disadvantage of the minor persons who were estimated as over 18. Later, the youth authority overtook this responsibility again, and there was a short time where also other social organizations in Munich were involved in the process. And like in my perspective, it got a little bit better, but then the youth authority stopped involving the other organizations. And again, there was a lot of pressure also from the government to cut costs, to not bring that many people into the youth support system, and so they started like to changing their practice again. And we've been in a long-term process of trying to discuss with Jugendamt about these issues, about the problems, and I would say the big problems are people are not taken serious. They are being objectified in these interviews. Their documents, even if they have documents, often the documents are not taken into consideration. For example, if people have an Afghan tazkira, or if people have a birth certificate from Sierra Leone, the authorities would just simply always say, we don't even refer to that because we're not sure if it's real or not. So we not even take it as a proof or even as a hint to the age of the person. So in the end, they always expect the other person to lie to them. So they never take the other person seriously. They never believe in what the young people are telling them. Was what the people shared with us, and also what was our perspective on it. And yeah, we're still on that topic up until today. And what we do often then is actually we support people with going into appeal at the court. And In some cases, this can be successful, but usually this leads to medical examination, which we are also very critical of. So it's sort of a difficult situation, because we can support people on a legal level to some extent, but this usually has the consequence of people having to undertake a medical examination, which can be very, very dehumanizing, degrading, and which also can, in the end, but other people here in the round have more experience on that, and not give you a exact age. It's just not possible.
Ganz kurz, also Chris hat nochmal geschildert, dass hier in München seit 2010 eigentlich Proteste, Aktionen gegen die Altersschätzungen stattfinden und er auch involviert war von Anfang an, und dass eigentlich die größten Probleme, die damit verbunden sind, eben sind, dass den Menschen nicht geglaubt wird, sondern versucht wird, sozusagen eine Objektivierung von außen herzustellen, die aber also sozusagen sich eigentlich oft selbst ad absurdum führt, und dass diese Kämpfe eben bis heute andauern. Eines der Probleme oder der Widersprüchlichkeiten, die eigentlich in eurer Arbeit dann auch auftauchen, ist, dass manchmal dann nur die sozusagen der Appeal bleibt, also wie nennt man das auf Deutsch? Die Klage gegen eine Schätzung, die jetzt das Jugendamt beispielsweise vornimmt, und dass vor den Gerichten dann aber eben insistiert wird, dass zum Beispiel eine medizinische Altersschätzung vorgenommen wird, die natürlich wiederum ihre eigenen Probleme mit sich bringt und diesen Kreislauf eigentlich fortsetzt.
Sabine? Als letzte in unserer Runde. Sabine, please, Chris already touched the topic that it's sort of an execution of power to determine the age, to determine which documents we take into account, which documents we leave aside as potentially forged. As an anthropologist, what is your view on these topics? How is it? How are these practices deciding and modeling the relationship between German authorities and refugees who are coming here to seek protection?
What I found interesting in all these years, when I was looking at medical age estimations, youth welfare estimations, the effects it had on people, and so on and so forth. I was really wondering why they actually kept doing this, because I mean it was clear from all sides that you cannot estimate an age on the point, and still, you know, they kept on doing it. They kept on talking about the methods and so on and so forth, and they always look on the bodies and the bones and the histories of individual refugees, and then with the time progressing, I started to turn the lens around and actually try to find out, okay, what does it have to do with the bones of citizens? What does it have to do with the documents of citizens, and how is it related to larger relationships, capitalist, colonial relationships? So, for example, when I was working in a camp for unaccompanied minors, and there was a person called Robert, whom I call Robert. I met him on the day that he had to leave the camp because the authorities didn't believe him that he was underage, and then they sent him out. And after going to an adult camp, going to Holland again, he was deported to Italy, where I met him in southern Italy. And there I met him. First he was homeless, then he lived in plastic planes, like plastic tents, like a lot of illegalized people there. And he worked on plantations for vegetables and fruit. And once we went through a city, and he showed on a cauliflower and said, we worked this a lot. And then I started thinking, what does this cauliflower and Robert's story teach me? And I read up on supply chains and all these things, and I found out that most of the vegetables and fruit that we eat in Germany, that we buy in the supermarkets, are harvested by seasonal migrant workers, that 64% of the fruit and vegetables that we eat as citizens are imported from somewhere else. So our citizens' bodies and bones are made from the work of migrant workers. So the boundaries that we create are, it can be challenged. And another example would be that the building in which in Bremen they do age estimations. It used to be a fruit yard, storage for bananas. Actually, it goes back to a company that made the banana a popular food to eat in Germany. And the starting capital for this company came from colonial relations. So it came from the slavery work of tobacco workers in the US or former Americas and other colonial conditions. So this building where they do age estimations today would not be there if it wouldn't be for colonial relations. So I found out that while we are looking, or most of the people are always looking on the bodies of refugees, actually we should start looking at where the bodies of citizens, where the body of Germany is coming from. It comes from colonial relations, and that's where we should look on, and where the resources come from.
Okay, also Sabine hat auf die Frage, was jetzt sozusagen auch also ihre Perspektive als Anthropologin auf diese Fragen ist, nochmal also auf ihre Arbeit hingewiesen und die Tatsache, dass oftmals der Blick auf die Körper der geflüchteten Menschen gerichtet ist, sowohl der institutionelle Blick, aber auch der akademische Blick sozusagen. Ja, wie sind die Körper, wie sind die Geschichten etc. Und dass für sie wichtig war oder es einen Moment gab, wo sie den Blick umgedreht hat und eigentlich auf die Körper der StaatsbürgerInnen sozusagen gelenkt hat. Und das machte sich fest an der Geschichte von Robert, der eben aus dem System der Jugendhilfe hier in Deutschland rausgefallen ist, weil er eben als volljährig eingeschätzt wurde und wie viele andere Menschen illegalisiert als Migrant dann in Italien auf den Obst- und Gemüsefarmen dort gearbeitet hat und Sabine dann zeigte einen Blumenkohl, wo er meinte, ja, das machen wir viel und wo dann doch mal deutlich wurde, wie sind eigentlich sozusagen die Körper und unsere Ernährung, unsere Lebensmittel, unsere Lebensbedingungen sozusagen gebunden an die Arbeit und an die unsichtbar gemachte Arbeit auch von Migrantinnen. Und ein anderes Beispiel, ganz kurz noch, ist eben auch das Gebäude, in dem in Bremen die Altersschätzungen vorgenommen werden, der ehemalige Fruchthof, der eben ganz eindeutig sowohl in seiner Fassade als auch in seiner Geschichte mit den kolonialen Beziehungen, die bis in den Versklavungshandel hineingehen, verbunden ist. Es würde dieses Gebäude ohne koloniale Beziehungen nicht geben und die Forderung ist eigentlich, den Blick auch darauf zu richten.
Perhaps now is a moment to introduce a bit the project and to make the website known. It's born-twice.de, where the project Sabine, Fatou, Omar and Katharina and two others, I think, they installed, where you find information about these colonial links, about the dehumiliating situation of age estimation and everything. And it's yes, you can have a look and learn a bit. It's an interesting idea, an interesting presentation also on the website about these things. But now perhaps back to you, Omar, Fatou, you you came into this activism via protesting against the living condition in these camps, Lindenstraße and Gottfried Daimler. Yeah, okay. And then you turned like to specific topics like these birth certificate denial. Yeah, that children born by African women living here as refugees are not given birth certificates because the authorities are have doubts if the identity of the mother is correctly established. Can you please perhaps line out how this went along, and you went to court, you have protestations against it, and it sort of changed in Bremen at least a little bit?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to make an overview of the birth certificate process in Bremen. I will just give an example concerning this. When women come to Bremen, either pregnant or alongside the way got pregnant, and then got to time for this 9 months, they give birth in hospitals in front of doctors and nurses, with no doubt that these babies were born in Bremen. But after giving birth, they are given another Urkunde, not a birth certificate. It's a certificate that is that substitute for the Geburtsurkunde. And that is, on that certificate, it is written specifically that the mother's identity is unknown or unbekannt. And until the mother's identity is actually cleared, the child is not going to get a birth certificate. So in order to get the mother's identity being cleared, there has to be a background check-up. And this background check-up is done through a process, whereas they send authorities back to the mother's homeland to do a background check. And this background check involves the authorities actually going to your village or city or wherever you originated from and ask questions not only to your family, but also relative and community members. So in this case, and that's not the hardest fact, the hardest fact is that the mothers are being forced or they are being required to actually sponsor this specific checkup. So you have to pay for it. And bearing in mind that at this stage, the mothers are not working because you have a kid who has no birth certificate, no insurance, no health insurance. And at this very stage, the mother has no paper to actually work. So you are being forced to actually sponsor your own investigation. Whereas the effects are your secret is being opened, your privacy is being invaded, and then the other aspect of this effect is that some of the kids might get sick at some point, and the mothers have fear to actually go to the hospital because they will have bills being sent to their addresses that they have to take care of. Or in some cases, they would prefer to actually give their kids paracetamol at that very stage. I'm not talking about this because of personal experience, but based on the interview that we did with mothers who were actually being affected. And then as reference, our website has all this information detailed from the raw source. That means the mothers themselves actually giving their own experience with proof. So when going back to the process of the birth certificate, after this background checkup is being cleared, that is the time that you can now actually go for the process of getting your birth certificate. And then in order for a mother to actually integrate in Germany, first of all, you would have to do let's say an integration course. You will have to learn German in the first place. But having a kid, a small child without a birth certificate, you cannot get them into a kindergarten. So therefore, most mothers in Bremen, they cannot actually go to school because first of all, the kindergarten will ask you for the child's passport in order to get your baby enrolled in a kindergarten. So without a birth certificate, without the mother's child's birth certificate, how do they expect the child to actually get a passport to be enrolled in a kindergarten so that the mother can eventually go to learn the course, do Ausbildung, and eventually have a job. So basically this has been going on, but very unknown to the world. And then it came recently, just today, to our notice that there is also a case in New Deutschland, because after we finished our research, there was this question mark that is this only happening in Bremen or is it happening other places in Germany? And this stays still now a question mark, and we would be very glad if everybody or anyone who is listening have an idea who is affected and which part of Germany we would like to have a contact, or we would like to keep in contact generally. So going back to the fight, it didn't just happen that we just went to the street for nothing, because at the end of the day, there was something positive that actually did happen. We went to court, and then the court ruled out the practice, not completely, but we are still in the process, and hopefully in the near future, no child has to go through this ever again. And that is still the fight, and we are not stopping, and that's why we are here. It's part of the fact, or it's among the reasons why we are sitting on this podium discussion, to make it known, and we are urging everybody that is listening to this information today to actually make it popular so that it becomes known, because fighting together we can make this world be in a better place. Thank you.
Ja, Fatou hat nochmal geschildert, also sozusagen die Bedingungen oder die Konditionen, die eigentlich diese Verweigerung der Geburtsurkunden sowohl für die Mütter als auch für die Kinder bedeutet. Für die Mütter bedeutet es, dass nach der Geburt eben keine Geburtsurkunde ausgestellt wird, sondern ein anderes Dokument, in dem die Identität der Mutter als unbekannt angegeben wird und ein Background-Check veranlasst wird, der von den Müttern selber getragen werden muss, von den Frauen selber getragen werden muss. Und wo eben Beamte oder Personen in die Orte reisen, wo die Frauen herkommen, in der Privatsphäre sozusagen rumstochern, fragen, ob sie dort schon verheiratet waren, etc., was natürlich ein Eingriff tatsächlich ist in vielerlei Hinsicht in das individuelle Leben, aber eben auch diese finanzielle Bürde mit sich bringt, dass das von den Frauen, die ja keine Mittel haben, weil sie nicht arbeiten dürfen, weil sie die kleinen Kinder haben, etc., getragen werden muss. Das andere, noch gravierendere, sind die Auswirkungen auf die Kinder selbst. Ohne Geburtsurkunde gibt es keine keine Krankenversicherung, keinen Kita-Platz, kein gar nichts, was natürlich Konsequenzen hat, wenn die Kinder krank werden oder ein Fieber bekommen oder so, dass die Mütter sich nicht trauen, mit ihnen zum Arzt zu gehen, weil sie die Rechnung selber tragen müssen und so weiter und so fort. Also, und alle Details dazu auf der Webseite.
Ja, vielen Dank. Omar, Chris, is this process of age determination, has it been confronted, has there been legal interventions also on this field to change the practice, or is it left to a fight, protestation on the street?
Yeah, I think 2018, 2019, there was a time that, we as a group, when we start this fight, doctors, a lot of doctors confirm that this is illegal when it comes to this bone testing. So because this bone testing, when you go for this bone testing, the machine never gives you your exact age. So it either have to be below or above or below. So it's like the authorities who deny you ask you to go for this medical examination. Still, it's just like a process. You go at the end, you're coming back to them again. They are going to decide. Because even you do this medical test, the doctor will not say that he is 18 or he is 16 and above. So still, the paper will come to their table for them to decide whether they will give you 18 or they will. So what's funny, even in my experience, in 2018, more than 30 people, it's like the system was designed because more than 30 people who do this interview are all given the same birth year, 1995, all, more than 30 people. So we can see that, you know, this cannot be. It can be. We cannot all be born in the same day. There is no difference. So, but like, I think it all have to do with the system, you know, how the system was designed. Because for me, social, they don't have a lot of work. It's designed there, the age is there, whether they, when they want to deny you or not deny you. So a lot of people also facing problems because of this age determination. Because one part is it will also kill your dreams. Because when they deny you, in this moment, you know, if you lawyer is in the process, they are treating you an adult. But if the lawyer is in the process and still they say that they denied you, so now you are out of the system completely. So in this moment, you are not being taken care of the socials or blah, blah, blah. So you are in your own. So you can see a lot of people, I say that, you know, a lot of people were criminalized because of the system. Because people could not leave their countries and come here. You accept them at the starting with open arms. And they were integrating and you told them that we deny you. So when you deny them, you told them that leave Bremen. So some will be living for more than 1 year. They are integrated, they are friends, they are going to football clubs. And one day you tell them that leave Bremen. So a lot of people deny this. They refuse this. But when in this time, they don't have any social support. So this is how, together we are Bremen is also not only fighting, coming to the demonstration and fighting for people's rights, but also organizing sleeping places for these people who are out of the system, for these people who did not have any money for the social. So we are meeting every week, and also we are seeking donation from the people who help us to ask people also if they have free places in their homes. They can accommodate these people, because in this moment, there is no force from these authorities that you have to leave Bremen, but they don't spend 1 cent on you. They don't give you any roof. So these people at this moment, a lot of these people at this moment, they don't have anywhere to go. They don't have any place to sleep. So if Together We Are Bremen was not there, a lot of these people could be criminals, or because they have to survive. They cannot be living there and doing hunger strike. So if there is any means that they could do, they will do this when there is no other option. So even me, for example, you know, I was at the same situation. So even to go to a Dutch course is a problem for me because of the paper that I have. So I want to integrate at this moment. But when I go to Volkshochschule, they told me that with the paper you are having, we cannot take you in. So I was going there every day. So the woman was a nice woman, told me that we see that you want to learn the Dutch course. So, but the only option for you is we can allow you to come and attend the classes, but when the test comes, you will not do any tests. So when the exam also comes, you will not do any exams. So you can see how it's also killing your dreams. When you come newly from Africa, you know, you said the chances that I don't have in Africa when I come to Europe, you know, big dreams, you know. So when you come at the starting, all these dreams are killed because you are hopeless, you know. So it's crazy. So the system, I think how the system was designed here is unbelievable. And a lot of people also don't want us to talk about it, how the system was designed. For example, also one time also in our demonstration, I was speaking there about telling these conditions and how the system was designed. So if I was not surrounded by people like German people, because after this speech, I just came from the stage, I was attacked by people, German people, who one man with a knife even want to, it was criminal, So with this kind of experience, you see that, people want to fight, people want to stand for themselves, but always there is a barrier. There is a barrier always, and people are afraid if they stand for themselves, what will happen? So this age determination thing is not something which is new. It's still going on, because still now in Bremen, people are facing it. Still now. Even the lawyers are telling us that now that you are not active in the street, it's difficult for us. Because the time that we are very active in the street, it's also easier for lawyers to win the cases in the court. So, but if we also lack support, no matter how we want to do it, we also lack support. Because together we are Bremen was not like today. Before it was very active, and we also have a lot of people who help us. But now it's not like that, But for me, I say to my friends and everybody, this is not about us. This is about the generation which is coming on. Because Africa was destroyed. There is nothing left in Africa, so we must come here. No matter what they do. All the doors that are open, when they close it, the other door is going to open, because what goes around must come around. We must come here. So the only thing for us, I will urge all the black and people of colors, it doesn't matter what kind of situation you are, where you are, whether you have passport or only thing what we can do to help the generation that is coming on is to fight, because this system is already designed and it's not going to be closed. We are the one who have to make it better, but it will not going to be closed. So I urge all of you, we also have a website whereby if you want to know more clue about how the authorities do this determination and stuff on, we have some videos there. You can also go to our website and have a proper checkup and see and have more idea about it. Thank you.
Fatou, can I just quickly, because otherwise I will forget. Can you hold it in your brain? One
point, but okay.
Okay, no, make your point. Make your point.
No, I wanted just to add one more point regarding the age determination. At the moment, in Bremen, there has not been a change in the justice system. That's just what I wanted to add. The fight continues, but there has not been a change in the justice system.
One sentence to that. Just a little change. I think the one that they first sent people to Hamburg, to the forensic scientists in Hamburg, but then they actually, when you protested, they could also in front of the courts appeal that. But the solution was simply that now people were sent to Münster to another forensic scientist. So they still have to go to medical age estimations, but they could appeal one form of them. And some people who went to Hamburg and were over 18 went to Münster and then became under 18. So that shows how the medical age estimations is really arbitrary and depends on where you go.
Okay, also die Frage, mit der Stefan eingeleitet hatte, war, ob es im Falle der Altersschätzung vergleichbare juristische Erfolge gibt wie mit den Geburtsurkunden. Und Omar hat zunächst nochmal dargestellt, sozusagen, wie absurd das System eigentlich ist, der Altersschätzung, dass also beispielsweise an einem Tag 30 Leute das gleiche Geburtsdatum zugewiesen bekommen, dass das ja gar nicht sein kann und sich eben selbst ad absurdum führt. Aber er hat dann auch nochmal ausgeführt, dass also gerade auch für Kämpfe vor Gericht etc. die aktivistische Arbeit total wichtig ist, weil die Anwälte sagen, ja, wenn ihr auf der Straße seid, wenn es laute Proteste gibt und Sichtbarkeit, dann haben wir auch größere Chancen, sozusagen einen Impact zu machen. Und das haben jetzt eigentlich auch Fatoumata und Sabine nochmal bestätigt, dass beispielsweise eben in der Zeit, als Together We Are Bremen 2018 bis 20, also vor Corona, sehr aktiv war, es sehr viele Demonstrationen gab, dass da eben auch Gerichtsentscheidungen sozusagen bestimmte Formen der Altersschätzung abgelehnt haben. Das hat aber nur dazu geführt, dass sie sozusagen in ein anderes Zentrum gebracht wurden, von Hamburg nach Münster. Und da eben die Ergebnisse auch sehr voneinander divergierten, was nochmal darauf hinweist, wie absurd es ist. Und dass es jetzt keinen kompletten, also es wird nicht so sein, dass es sozusagen ganz abgeschafft wird. Aber Omar hat halt nochmal betont, wie wichtig die Proteste eigentlich auch sind, auch für zukünftige Generationen.
Chris, you are grown out of the young activist age, but can you, sorry to say this, can you perhaps say how this perhaps was with Caravan in Munich? Has it been a similar development that there was a phase, some couple of years of stronger activism, and then it declined, or it became calmer, or how did it develop?
I mean, as our friends and comrades from Bremen show very impressively, it's first of all, it's always about the people who are affected by it. If they organize, then something will happen. And it was the same with us. It was not us having the idea, but back in that time there was, I think, maybe something comparable to maybe this Gottlieb-Daimler-Straße in Bremen was in Munich, and there were a lot of people who have not been in the age determination yet, or who were, the age was not cleared, they did not have any legal guardians, they were not in the youth welfare system, they were basically left to themselves, and this is how we came in touch with them, because they were protesting their living conditions. That's how we came in touch with that topic. And I think when we are fighting this issue, we have to keep in mind that there are two big injustices underlying the fact why this is such a deciding point, this age determination. And one, there's a big discrimination against refugees at this point, because the youth welfare system is designed to protect children, to protect minors. So if a German child minor would be without his parents or could not live with his family, there would be no doubt that this person would come into the youth welfare system, because it's a very high legal value to protect minors and children. So if the same situation is for affected minor refugees, the state will at the end determine age, and they can also not prove it. Maybe the person cannot prove that she's a minor, but the government for sure cannot prove that that person is an adult, at the other hand. And so the government takes the risk of putting that person into a refugee camp with adults, maybe very isolated. When we started this with the Caravane, the people would come to the smallest villages in Bavaria. What is happening today is they go to big anchor centers in maybe Ingolstadt, for example. And that's the second problem, the big difference between, for a refugee, if he's considered a minor, he will go into youth welfare system, he will not be transferred out of the city. That's also what you mentioned in Bremen. It's the same here in Munich. If you are, or at least it was back then, you have a good chance to stay in Munich, to come into youth welfare housing here, where you have a person taking care of you. You will be enrolled in school. You might start your Ausbildung. And this is a huge difference when you come to a big Ankerzentrum. You will not have access to Deutschkurs at the beginning. You will have maybe one social worker for 500 people there. So the chances of that person getting a good integration, getting a good start here in Germany, get in touch with people who can support them, get a stay in the end, get a residency permit in the end, because maybe you have the chance to do Ausbildung or something like this. It all depends on the question whether they consider you a minor or an adult. So it changes really a lot for the life chances of a person. And that is something we also have to keep in mind, and we should fight, I think, and not only look on the biological age of a person, but to see what the person needs. If the person maybe is in need of support, no matter if the person is 17 or if she's 19, for example.
Okay, also Chris hat nochmal darauf verwiesen, dass die Kämpfe und Proteste am effektivsten sind, wenn sie von den Menschen selber getragen sind, die betroffen sind. Also dass das auch bei euch bei der Karawane so war 2010, dass die Motivation und die Inspiration sozusagen von Refugees selber ausging und dadurch eben auch eine größere Aufmerksamkeit generiert wurde. Und du hast dann nochmal auf zwei Probleme sozusagen im System verwiesen. Also auf der einen Seite eigentlich die rassistische Ungleichbehandlung von deutschen StaatsbürgerInnen versus eben Menschen, die nicht über die deutsche Staatsbürgerschaft verfügen, im Hinblick auf das Jugendschutzgesetz, dass es eigentlich ein hohes Gut ist, sozusagen Kinder und Jugendliche zu schützen und dass der Staat, indem er eben anzweifelt, das Alter, eigentlich das Risiko bewusst eingeht, also Kinder und Jugendliche sozusagen quasi auszustoßen. Und damit verbindet sich eigentlich auch das zweite Problem, dass nämlich die Unterschiede zwischen Jugendhilfe und dem System für Erwachsene so gravierend sind und die Bedingungen sozusagen, die unter denen Erwachsene leben müssen in Ankerzentren oder in kleinen Dörfern oder wie auch immer, also eigentlich allem widersprechen, was sozusagen mit dem Ankommen hier vor Ort, was dafür eigentlich notwendig ist und dass es wichtig wäre, dass sich nicht an irgendeiner Altersgrenze orientiert wird, sondern an den Bedürfnissen der Betroffenen. Ich glaube, Sabine will dazu auf jeden Fall was sagen.
Yeah. Can I have like one short sentence to that? Yeah, because I just wanted to add, I mean, maybe that's, I just wanted to add that because some organizations say, yeah, we should face on the needs of the people, and I just want to add that no human being on this planet needs to live in a camp with 700 people with bad food or no food. No human being on this planet needs to work in a plantation for no money. No human being on this planet needs to be deported into homelessness. So I think the adult system is not human, and that's the problem. I mean, nobody, minor, adult, 23, 5, 88 needs this. So I think that's the source of the problem, the way that refugees are treated when they're adults.
Genau, also Sabine hat jetzt nochmal betont, dass das Problem sozusagen nicht die Altersgrenze ist, sondern die Bedingungen also diese vermeintlich normalen Bedingungen, die aber unmenschliche Bedingungen sind und dass es niemanden gibt, keinen Menschen, egal ob er 88 oder 5 Jahre oder 18 oder 20 Jahre alt ist, die sozusagen es nötig hätten, unter solchen Bedingungen, also mit 700 anderen Menschen eingepfercht, in Plantagen arbeitend, in die Wohnungslosigkeit gestoßen und so weiter zu leben.
Okay, thanks a lot. I would open this to questions or comments here in the round, and perhaps I would ask this question. Do you agree that this asylum reception system is excluding, discriminatory, and perhaps racist? Please come here, use the microphone, because we are streaming it on YouTube, so you can come into the...
Good evening to everyone. My name is Alice Chienji. I'm a Ugandan, and I work with Bellevue de Monaco, and I'm in charge of providing information to the refugees and asylum seekers that come visit us here, because we in Bellevue, we believe this is a family for the refugees and asylum seekers. I'm also a human rights activist with a major focus on human rights, and I'm also a researcher and consultant in the area of international trade and business, as well as investment. Okay, thank you very much for the submissions. They are really, really very resourceful, and I'm really so touched. I'm really so touched with what you have shared with us. If I turn my microphone to the lady, yes, whatever you witness in the camp, I also witnessed, but we have a different direction of issues that I didn't go as far as coming out, fighting for the women. We only talked about this, and we still talk about very many issues. I still talk about very many issues with the women in the camp since 2020. But when it comes to the issue of birth certificates, I think this could be happening in Munich as well. And as far as Munich, because I've got a couple of friends, and one of them confided in me that when she gave birth, she really got many hindrances with the land resort. The child could not be registered. So she was moving back and forth from Landratsamt to Caritas, Landratsamt to Caritas, and she just got tired. Secondly, she could not even attend any Dutch course because the child is not registered and the mother is also not registered. And however, maybe I could ask you a question where I really picked concern. You mentioned that the mother's origin has to be traced back to the country of origin. But if a mother has a passport, can that not be resourceful for the authorities to provide a birth certificate? And secondly, to Mr. I'm sorry, I've forgotten the name. I'm bad with names. Yeah. The issue about age determination. Well, I have experienced that in my course of work here. There is one young man from Somalia that came up to me and told me that, look, I have been thrown out of my accommodation because I'm not young anymore. So I could not connect. What do you mean exactly by you are not young anymore? Yeah, authorities say that I'm not young, so I have to be out, but I am still young. So, that was left hanging. So, well, to crown up this whole issue, I would be very, very, very much resourceful to your activism, because I'm also an activist, and given the fact that I'm deep-rooted in the refugee community since 2010, not only as an activist, but also as a volunteer. And today, I still do that. I have a platform, and I have a rich background of information to do with refugees. They really need help, and I do not know what to do with all this information because I'm not an authority, but I look forward to working with you. Thank you.
We don't need translation anymore, or do we? Yeah.
But there is another. Will you answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
think I can answer to that question. Actually, the mothers, or most of the mothers, do have passports. Not only passport, they do also have birth certificates that they do submit to these authorities. But no matter how much of certificates they submit, the authenticity of the certificate are not being, let's say, they think it's false. Yeah, they have doubts of the authenticity of the certificates that are being submitted. Therefore, they will suggest that they would have to go to the root, to your roots, to actually find information by themselves. No, they submit passports, even birth certificates from the mothers, school certificates, and when they go back to do your background checks, they go to schools, even your primary school as a mother, the church that you attend, the friends that you had back home, they are being questions. Your family members are being questions, and basically they make an argument that they are going back there to actually find out if you are really married before or not, because they are assuming every mother, every African mother that has a kid at the age of maybe over 20 or 25 must have been married. So in the German law, it is stated that if you are married and you have a kid, automatically the kid is it belongs to the guy that, or the man that you are married to. So in order to deny you the birth certificate for your baby or resident permit, they would go far and beyond to dig out your history, to dig out your origins, to dig out everything in the past, just to have one single reason not to actually give you this resident permit or the birth certificate to your kid. So therefore, there is no lack of submission of identity certificates, but the fact that you have to prove them far and beyond. And not only by your words, but by them having to go down to your origins to actually find the information themselves.
I only want to add. Hello. Yeah, like about the passport and birth certificate, it's also very crucial. Like I said, for me, it's like the system was already designed, because this time that you are doing this interview or they reject your age, if you have passport, the social will say that we don't believe your this passport, we don't believe your birth certificate. But if anyhow you manage to pass this process and do your Ausbildung, finish with your Ausbildung, migration arm say that bring your passport, you will present the same passport and they will accept it and give you the resident permit. So you can see how the system, I think, is already designed. You know, they just want to waste your time and do whatever they want to do. It's crazy. Social will say this, migration will say this. But the same passport you will submit when you need the resident permit. When they need you, they are going to accept the same passport. It's crazy.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing this and your encouragement. I will try to sort out my thoughts, but if I say something that was not so appropriate, please excuse me, because English is not my native language, so I try my best to explain myself. Because I was reflecting about when you say the problem is the system. I would say the problem is a mindset. So it's the system, I would say in Germany or in China, everywhere, the same issue can repeat to different people. And I think that for me, I see it's a mindset problem, because when a society or the government sees a group of people do not have certain contribution, or they are not able to contribute to, or they think a group of people do not have any value added to a society, they tend to come up with some strategy to devalue the existence of a group. So I feel like there's a mindset problem, not seeing the potentiality of the other human being has, not necessarily whether it's this group or any group, or Chinese or Myanmar or Thailand, or, you know. So I feel so my question would be, if you, okay, this is maybe too spontaneous question, but if you have the attention from the German government that they have a saying of the refugee system, what would you want to tell them? Maybe a second question, because I'm zooming out a bit as well, because I also think it's not just German government, it's more or less the whole international level, how things are running, because you were saying the resources were deprived from your country. Because I can very much imagine how the overall international collaboration that works, that maybe it's a root cause of all these issues. So I was thinking, if you have the chance that you wanted to say something about you as a human being, that you have a contribution to the society, wherever it's in Germany or China, would that be something you wanted to tell them? Because I think if the mindset doesn't change, if we work on the system level, there's always a way out. There's always a door that someone can start to twist it if the mindset was not changed. And if you would like to change the mindset to show I am a human being, the same as you can read, you can write, you can program, I can do the same. Yeah, just feel like you probably wanted to tell the one who has a saying that can do such decision.
I don't know if I get the question right, but I'm going to try. So, generally, what I would say, not only to the German authorities or Germans, but I would say to Europe in general, is the fact that if you look at some streets in Germany, they have been named, not in Germany, in Europe, they have been named after people that did atrocities to other countries to glorify them. They have glorified people that did the worst things to human race in history, to glorify them today in Europe. If you go today to Belgium, you will have a whole, how do you call it, a whole Bahnhof being named after him. But you go back to Namibia and you see what the Belgian had done to them. Today, the history of chocolate, hand chocolate, is still out there. And who is there to challenge it? So, but today you are, these European systems are criminalizing people just by crossing borders. You come from Africa or from Middle East, from anywhere, the first thing is that you are being suspected of being a criminal in the first place. You walk around, you are being a criminal doesn't just mean you are being locked up, but in the Gefängnis, but also being your freedom of movement is being restricted. For example, you cannot live in Bremen and then go to Bayern, because when you have some form of, if you are on the same system, like in the process, you are not allowed to live where you want to live. So what I would say is that everybody should be treated equally, and it has to start from home. Have to start from everyone. They say charity begins at home. It means not only the German government, not only the German people, but also us that are being affected by doing one thing to the other to actually improve the system. And that is not just for the German authorities, but for everyone. So I would say that, first of all, glorifying one group and then criminalizing the other is actually the basic of this whole problem in the first place, in my own point of view.
I just want to add a little what my sister said. Like, if I am in the power to tell something about the authority, it's very easy. Freedom. Treat everybody equally. It's simple as that. When the Europeans go to my country, for example, in Africa, they don't experience what I'm experiencing. You know why? Because even back there, the system which was existing there, they are the one who designed that system. And this system is benefiting them in my country and their country too, because they colonized us. Still, we are not even speaking our own language. We are speaking foreign language. So you can see, it's very simple. Let everybody be free. You can move everywhere you want to go, but let's treat each other equally. Treat me as how you want me to be treated. This world will be a better place for everyone. I don't know whether you get my point.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. My name is Karimba. I'm from Sierra Leone, and before that, I have roots from Guinea as well, and Senegal and Gambia, because most people in Sierra Leone are originally from Senegal, Mali, and Gambia. That's why you see the same names, Janneh and Cham and Ba. The borders, like you say, in Africa were just created here in Berlin in 1884. And no Africans were involved when Otto von Bismarck, and actually I saw a statue of Otto von, you're talking about the former Belgian king, what's his name now? Leopold, right? Sorry. Here I saw a statue of Otto von Bismarck. I don't know much about how he's connected to Bayern, but he was the one who called the conference in 1884 in November 14 or 15, and this November marks 140 years since that. And he called all the European governments around the world. They sat here in Berlin, and they took the map of Africa and decided to divide Africa. So that's why you see I'm a Ba from Sierra Leone, and you go to Guinea, there are Bas. You go to Senegal, you go to Gambia, the same names, but cut into different artificial borders. And so, you know, it's the system, like you said, that was created by the colonial adventures, which was led by, you know, a lot of these, you know, European states, continue to create problems in Africa that is leading to the underdevelopment and the lack of economic opportunities in Africa. So you're talking about international system. And so the international system has created a role for Africa. And that role is that Africa should provide raw materials for the needs of Europe, nothing else. We provide, if you want chocolates, we provide the chocolates. We provide whatever is needed in Europe, we are the ones who provide it. The resources, the natural resources that are needed, the iron ore to build all of this, you know, the train lines and all of these things, you know, it comes from Africa. Now, in this system, Africa is perpetually at the lower level of the economic value chain. So it means that, and also the use of debt as a strategy of entrapping Africa. So we are perpetually in debt. We are perpetually at the lowest level of the value production in the world, and we cannot get out of that. And also because we cannot come together to decide how much we sell the resources, the iron ore and everything. So for this level of high standard of living and big profits and big corporations in the world to continue to get rich, Africa must stay in that position. We cannot get out of that position. You cannot, because even the currencies we use, everything is controlled by the international systems, things like World Trade Organization, IMF, and World Bank. You know, so I think that what we need to do in the world is for African people and European people to understand that this system needs to change. If you don't want people to come from other parts of the world then you have to make the system just. You have to undo, you have to decolonize the system that you created that is causing this problem. Someone is talking about the root cause of the problem. That's the root cause of the problem. So this, even now, people are talking of transition to new energy, renewable energy. Africa has the largest deposits of all the quote-unquote critical minerals that are needed to power this renewable energy, you know, for the solar, for everything, and electric cars and all of this. Africa has the biggest, everything is in Africa to produce this. And so, but if we cannot produce it, even for our own needs in Africa, less than 10% of people have electricity, even though we have everything that is needed for electricity. But we produce it and send it to Europe. So this system has been created will continue to ensure that young people will move from Africa to come to Europe. There is nothing going to stop them until African people, me and you, or the human beings in the world, those who want to see a better world, begin to connect and say we have to change this system. It's not enough to feel sorry that Africa is poor, people are suffering, and you send some money. The system has to change internationally, and it's us ordinary people that change the apartheid system, that fought against the slavery. People who owned the slave, they didn't want it to end. It's ordinary people that came together and said, no, this is wrong. Colonialism, apartheid, people had to come together and say, this is wrong. It's the same thing that we need to do, so that someone in Gambia, in Sierra Leone, can decide to go and come here in Germany and settle here, just like someone in Germany can decide to go anywhere in Africa and decide to stay there. This is how the world should be. But because of this international apartheid economic system that has been created, this is not possible. So we need to have a strategy of people coming together, creating campaigns, creating movements to change the global economic system. Without that, the migration will not stop.
Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, perhaps one last question, and then we can perhaps comment on the.
It's an honor to me that I'm being here with you. My name is Mohammed Al Muri. I came from Yemen, and the problem right now, I've been here since 4 months or 4 months ago. 2 months in the jail and 2 months in the camp. I am going to talk about two points. The first point, those people who comes from the border illegally, such as me. They put me in the jail because I came illegally, and many refugees come the same way. Why? I don't know. They said, you know, you have to back to Poland, and they sent me back to Poland again, and Poland say, you have two choices. We have to send you back to the forest, or you have to go to another country. So I back again to Germany, and Germany put me in the jail. Why? I don't know. This is the first point. So as a political activists, I hope that you're going to talk with the government about this thing. The second point, right now I'm living in the camp. Sleeping, eating. Sleeping, eating. But I found an opportunity with Bolivia de Monaco. I'm working with them right now as a volunteer in the open house. Also, I'm teaching, or as a teacher, English teacher. And the other side, I'm going to work with InfoPost as a translator, English to Arabic, as a volunteer. I found many opportunity job here in Germany. They give me contract in DHL. Tomorrow I have interview in Amazon. But my Ausweis is not allowed me to work. So they want me to stay in the camp, sleep and eat. Sleep and eat. So as a political factors, if you can talk with the government that many people from the refugees have a great power and energy to work. I'm serving the internet, and I say that Germany need many employees. Why? Why they don't allow those people to work? Fill the employer. Why? I used to work in my country as a project manager, and also I have my own organization, Yemen Youth Philanthropy Mission. But the situation, as you know, is not that good in Yemen, and there is a big war. And I made also here a protest with some friend of mine that many people came from Yemen are rejected. I don't know. Honestly, Yemeni people has a huge energy. They like to work. Let them work, and you will see that they have, I don't know how to say it, a great energy. So as the F factors, I hope that you're going to talk with the government about these two issues. And I'm so happy, and I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much for this opportunity that you gave it to me to talk. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so
hello, good evening. Thank you for this workshop. It's so much touching and very interesting. My name is Kayaga Hadija. I'm coming from Uganda. It's the Pearl of Africa, but the pearls are not there anymore. Yeah. My focus is actually, I had an experience on this issue, but I didn't know really, it was really serious, because when we come here, we don't have information. A friend of mine is called Kamara, is a Sierra Leonean, and said, I've been here in Germany a long time, but they deny my age. I say, how? He tried to tell me the whole story, but I could not catch up. You didn't tell them your age? I told them, they gave me another. Huh? Okay. Now you explain everything from the road. This is really, really serious. And the guy is juggling here with integration from one Fort House building to another to survive. So many years he has not done anything, but he's trying to survive from one learning to another. They give him small courses from the Randrasamt. You know, go and do this so he can pass his time. You know? So it's really not so good. Not so good. I'm here 2 years. I've tried to integrate, but I feel bad when I see other people are not getting the chances like I do. So really, you are doing a very good job, and we are ready to volunteer with you. I am also a person of Bellevue. I came here when I was starting my integration. I was learning in this class, all the letters and everything. So another thing I have to talk about is like a question about the mothers that pay for their investigation. Can I ask, how much does that cost? Really, the figure is so much bigger.
Actually, I don't know the exact figure of it, but it is around up to 700 euros.
That is so much when a person doesn't work.
Doesn't work, exactly.
So, which means that is a dead end.
Yeah. Some of them has to...
so it doesn't
family,
work. It's like,
it's
like someone tells you to eat from an empty plate.
Exactly.
Okay. That's very bad. My other question goes to the Caravan project. I have an issue also that when I came here, I gave all my documents to the government, but they said they cannot do background check for me because I was a political person and did a political asylum. But why is it that for the people who don't have age, they want to do the background, and for me, they say they cannot? So also, I don't get it. Where is the interest there?
I did not completely understand what you mean.
Like I cleared my my identity. I gave them my ID for Uganda, my passport. Mm-hmm. All other documents I had from my projects and everything. But one time I got a letter, they told me that they cannot do any background check. It's very expensive. But when you hear these people explain about the age, the kids unaccompanied and without birth certificate. They want them to do the background check, to be, like paid. I don't understand why is the interest in these underaged people who don't, and then the others, they cannot, they tell you to do it. So it's kind of, I'm not getting it. I don't know if my question is clear.
Yeah, but I think I cannot answer it right now because we probably would have to look into why they question your identity or for what purpose. And that's also, brings us back to the point that you mentioned. Then some authority will accept one passport for one reason.
Yeah.
And but then the other authorities will not accept it. Like one famous example is the passports from Somalia. If they not do it very often, but if they want to do it, if they want to deport a person with a passport like this, or also to Sierra Leone with proxy passports, then they will do it. But if you want to bring this passport as a proof of your identity here in order to, I don't know, get your unlimited residency or German citizenship, they will say, no, this passport is not good enough. So it's always
because right now, we have a new passport. It's an East African passport. It works with Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda, and it's electronic. So all the data you need is there in the passport. So really, the system is not so good. I think that is the most difficult thing we are finding in everything here. Another thing, okay, thank you so much. Okay.
Okay, thank you for the comments and questions. And I would like, it's 8:45. I would like to ask the panel if you have still a final comment to make. We ran quite straight into activism and into the need to fight for rights and to fight for equality and freedom. Is there anything you want to add, like a final point, like view into the future or something?
Should I? Okay.
It might be also a small view into the future, how to proceed with your project, for instance, or nothing.
Just to kind of speak on behalf of everyone, I guess. The view for the future might just be working together. Because in unity, that's just the way forward. It's just to unite, have the same goal and objectives, and then work towards it as a united force. And without unity, nothing prevails. And then, as we all know, according to history, great leaders have led in mysterious way just by using the divide and conquer rule, and it's still happening today. So if we want to fight against injustice and everything that is, all the wrongdoings that are happening in today's world, is just to unite as one. It doesn't matter, black, white, wherever you come from. We are all humans. We have the same red blood and nothing. We have just one race, which is the human race. And the only way we can survive is to unite and fight to the last drop. Yeah, that's all I have to. Thank you.
Yeah, I also want to add a little, and like my sister, I forgot your name. Alice. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for coming here, but also thank you for the work that you are doing. I have big respect for you, and I hope that, somehow we can somehow connect, because our works are kind of similar. So we are always looking for new groups or activist groups to create, to connect, So this fight should not stop, Let's fight. Let's not keep quiet. Let's fight. Let's stand for our right, and let's fight, We thank all of you to come here, It's a very nice evening, and we also enjoy all your presence here. We will also urge or like you people to look at our website and share it, because we want more people, it will help a lot of people when they have clue about the website. So if you could check it and share it, this will be very appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, alle anderen sind total glücklich oder erschöpft, so everybody's happy or exhausted. So, Alice? Okay. But short, please.
Very short. Keep it short and simple. Just a take back home for the activists, especially the lady. Would you please go and, as much as you looked into the birth certificates with the mothers, would you please also go and look into the issue of African women when they clock 35, 33, 34, 35, they have less chances. When they visit, for example, when they visit the female doctors or gynecologists, they always push them away. It is happening in Munich. I have related with many African women when they clock 34 and 35 and they want to become mothers, they are thrown out of hospitals by gynaes, and these gynaes are usually men. So that will be an area of interest for you as an activist and maybe for the researcher as well to look into. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank. Okay, fine, good. Okay, thanks a lot for everybody to come, especially our guests from Bremen who had a long travel to go, and also from Bayreuth, which is also dependent on the train, which in Germany is always a point. Thanks a lot for being here. Thanks a lot for sharing your knowledge, sharing your interest, sharing also your activism and your energy. I hope you will be successful in your fight to improve the situations in which way it may be and in which realm also. Thank you also for the people, for Chris from Munich coming here and sharing his view on the situation in Munich and Bavaria with us. Yes, I hope you have a nice evening. I hope it was interesting for everybody. I hope you will keep a little bit of the spirit and the call for activism is not in vain. Okay? Bye-bye. Ciao.